Wow, 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 ladies and gentlemen. The pound for pound Ring Magazine rankings have officially been updated. And my goodness, right off the bat, number 7 and number 8, I got some disputing to do. But first, the top 5. Naoya Inoue, the monster. Moving on up from the number 2 ranked position to the number 1 ranked position. The new pound for pound king. I feel like, okay, let's give him his flowers. He deserves it. There's an argument to be made about Alexander Usyk, who's a former 2-time undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world, 3-time undisputed champion of the world. Beat guys like Tyson Fury 2 times. Beat guys like Anthony Joshua 2 times. Beat guys like Daniel Dubois 2 times. And what he did to him in his last fight, my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. But at the current state, right now, Alexander Usyk deciding to fight against Rico Verhoeven at the Pyramids in Giza, while Naoya Inoue just went up against the former WBC IBF bantamweight, Ring Magazine, bantamweight champion of the world, and Junto Nakatani, who was 32-0, undefeated, former WBO flyweight champion, former WBO junior bantamweight champion. Let's give the monster his flowers. I ain't mad at this at all. Pound for pound, number 1, Naoya Inoue deserved it. He worked hard for that position. Let's clap it up. Alexander Usyk, number 2. Okay. Shakur Stevenson, number 3. Pound for pound wise, how could you argue that? You're talking about a former WBO featherweight champion of the world, former WBO WBC junior lightweight champion of the world, former WBC lightweight champion of the world, and moved on up in his first fight at 140 pounds and took on Teofimo Lopez, the Ring Magazine champion. Teofimo Lopez, who technically didn't become an undisputed champion in the lightweight division due to the WBC, Devin Haney being, filled as a champion, and Vasily Lomachenko being placed as champion franchise. Due to those tags, Teofimo Lopez technically did not become an undisputed lightweight champion and technically didn't become an undisputed junior welterweight champion, even though he beat the man that was the undisputed junior welterweight champion of the world in Josh Taylor. We can't forget about that, ladies and gentlemen. Shakur Stevenson walks through him, takes the WBO and Ring Magazine titles off Teofimo Lopez. Shakur Stevenson, 4-division world champion, deserves to be right there, bro. Now, number 4 and number 5, you can argue, you can dispute this. You can dispute all these. But number 4 and number 5, I'm not angry about. Although Jesse Bam Rodriguez, 2-division world champion, at the lower weight classes, David Benavidez, the first fighter in the history of the sport to become a super middleweight champion, then a light heavyweight champion, and now a cruiserweight champion, 3-division world champion. Jesse Bam Rodriguez has been having some phenomenal wins. Fernando Martinez, Cafu. But David Benavidez, what he just did to Zurdo Ramirez and Anthony Yard and the previous opponents before that, the rise that David Benavidez has been having. You're talking about from 168 to 175. The difference from 175 to 200 is 25 goddamn pounds. And goddamn right, Zurdo Ramirez was coming in at 210, 215, 220 for a fact. David Benavidez currently is a champion in 2 different weight divisions. Holds the WBA regular light heavyweight bout and the WBC full light heavyweight bout, along with the cruiserweight WBO and WBA titles. There's an argument to be made that David Benavidez deserves to be ranked at least number 4 I've got him at number 4. But if you want to have Jesse Bam Rodriguez and have David Benavidez at number 5 now, I'm not mad at that, because at least they're giving David Benavidez his flowers now by putting him ahead of Dimitri Bivol. Ladies and gentlemen, David Benavidez now is a top 5 pound-for-pound fighter in the world based on the rankings, as Dimitri Bivol gets pushed out of place. And I think it's only right. I understand Dimitri Bivol, former undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world, has some great wins on him. I mean, Dimitri Bivol is one of the best fighters in the goddamn world. But currently, right now, Dimitri Bivol, who, yes, is coming off a win against Arthur Beterbiev, had back surgery, was mandated to fight against David Benavidez, the number 5 ranked fighter in the pound-for-pound rankings, was mandated to fight him. A purse bid was coming up. The day before the purse bid comes, Dimitri Bivol decides to vacate his title. Why? Because him and Turkey want to chase a trilogy fight with Arthur Beterbiev. Well, that doesn't end up happening. Dimitri Bivol ends up undergoing back surgery, and now he's coming back to fulfill his obligated IBF mandated fight. You didn't fulfill the WBC mandated fight, but now you're going to do the IBF against who? Michael Eifert? We still got to keep him at number 6. For a fact, Dimitri Bivol deserves that. He's worked hard for this position, and just because he's fighting against Michael Eifert doesn't mean that they got to demote him even more. But what David Benavidez showed us on Saturday is that no guy, Dimitri Bivol or Arthur Beterbiev, can beat David Benavidez. And when the whole boxing world is saying that and seeing that, it makes sense for David Benavidez to go over Dimitri Bivol. Dimitri Bivol, ranked number 6 now. All right. Now, this is where things get interesting. Devin Haney brought this up on Inside the Ring, and I thought it was absolutely interesting, because I woke up today and seen the pound-for-pound rankings and said, that's kind of weird that Junto Nakatani is ranked number 7 and Devin the Dream Haney is ranked number 8 when you think about the current state of boxing. I understand Junto Nakatani. Come on, man. Accolades, dude. 3-division world champion. WBO, flyweight, WBO, super flyweight, WBC, IBF, Ring Magazine, bantamweight champion of the world. But what pound for pound means is you can grab a fighter from any weight division, the welterweight division, boom, and he has the skills. Technically, he's so skilled, so good, that if you put him up in the heavyweight division with a heavyweight body, he'd be able to beat the heavyweight champ, pound for pound. Pound for pound. Best boxers in the world when you put it up like that. Devin Haney, yes, has 1 loss in his record. Even though it doesn't say that when you look his name up on BoxRec, he's 33-0. Junto Nakatani, 32-1. If you give Devin Haney that loss with Ryan Garcia, they're both 32-1. Very, very similar records. Both 3-division world champions. But Devin Haney was an undisputed lightweight world champion. Had some great wins. Vasily Lomachenko, George Kambosos, Regis Prograis, Jorge Linares, Jose Ramirez, Jojo Diaz. At least when Jojo Diaz was a little bit better than what he is right now. Devin Haney moved up, became an undisputed lightweight champion, moved up to the junior welterweight division, became a champion in that division, became the WBC champion, and then decided to move on up once again to 147 pounds. Historically, one of the most stacked divisions in the sport of boxing. When he moved in, at the time, I believe Brian Norman Jr. was ranked number 1 in the welterweight rankings, holding the WBO bout. So it was definitely not one of the most stacked welterweight divisions when you're talking about the last 2 decades. Come on, man. But Devin Haney moved up from 140 to 147, beats Brian Norman Jr., drops him, and looks absolutely fantastic. He's moving up weight, pound for pound, and is continuing to win fights. We've seen Junto Nakatani go from 118 to 122. 4 pounds. And as soon as he stepped into the 122-pound division, problems. Sebastian Hernandez Reyes, problems. Was getting beat down. Yes, had some good times in that fight, was using his boxing skills in the early half of the fight, but the majority of the fight and the way he looked after, dude, Sebastian Hernandez was laying hands on Junto Nakatani, the Night of the Samurai, a card that was supposed to build up the Inoue and Nakatani fight to be even bigger than what it was, and I believe that shot it down. Watching Sebastian Hernandez and what he did to this boy, to Junto Nakatani, and then he goes and fights against Naoya Inoue, and hey, there's nothing bad about losing to Inoue at all. Your first loss in your career, you're 32-0. But both of your fights at 122 pounds have been losses. Or one loss and one win. But at the current state of boxing, what Devin Haney has been doing, guys, compared to Junto Nakatani, I understand Junto Nakatani has fought some great opponents, not very known in the sport of boxing, especially to the casual fans. Devin Haney, he's fought some good boxers, but, you know, with him, it's like, okay, George Linares was good. Jojo Diaz was cool. You know, Regis Prograis was cool. George Kambosos was cool, even though he had a win against Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez had air in his chest in that fight. It is what it is. Vasily Lomachenko, probably the best win of Devin Haney's career. Jose Ramirez, hey, that wasn't as impressive as a victory as we thought it was going to be. But at the end of the day, right now, currently, when you put their resumes up against each other, when you put their titles, their records, very, very similar. That's why 7 and 8, it's so close. But at the current state of boxing, with Junto Nakatani's last 2 performances, I just don't see it, man. I got Devin Haney ranked as the number 7 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. I don't think he deserves to be higher. I don't think he deserves to be over Dimitri Bivol, David Benavidez, Jesse Bam Rodriguez, anywhere Usyk, Shakur Stevenson. But I do think he deserves to be a little bit higher, a little bit more respected too, over Junto Nakatani. My goodness, ladies and gentlemen. But I like this a lot better than the previous goddamn rankings. Let me know what you guys think. This is the MMA Boxing Addict channel, giving you my opinion on the new pound for pound Ring Magazine rankings. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.